Thank you for joining. This is Confessions of a Dominatrix, Episode 4, The Quiet Edge. There's a quiet edge to power, a thin line between panic and precision, where most people collapse. I live there. I've learned that control isn't proven in the roar of chaos. It's shown in the breath you take before you move. Every threat, every scream, every shift in tone, it all comes down to whether you can breathe, decide, and act. From reaction to regulation. The first time I understood that control could be chosen, not reflexive, the world had a very sharp sound: gunfire. I was working VIP security, managing bottle service, when a fight broke out and a group was escorted out of the club. Minutes later, they came back around the front, only this time they brought bullets. Instinct arrived, but not panic. I grabbed my cocktail server, dropped her low, shielded her body with mine, and pulled her around the corner. Hands moved with purpose. Check for wounds, press for bleeding, listen for more steps. The mind ran a checklist like a metronome: breathe, observe, stabilize, call. Landmarks, descriptions, number of rounds, direction of travel. It wasn't bravery, it was rhythm. When the world narrows, the choice is simple: become frantic or become useful. I chose the latter. That's what regulation feels like in real time. Not adrenaline speech, no hero moment, just a calm that slices clean through chaos. The science of calm. There's a chemistry to panic and a science to peace. When danger hits, adrenaline and cortisol flood the bloodstream. Your heart races. Vision tunnels, and thought collapses into impulse. Training rewires that collapse. You teach your body to respond before your mind can betray it. Rule 1. Control your breath. Box breathing. 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And repeat. Each breath tells your body we are safe enough to think. Rule 2. Name the threat. Say it aloud. Shots fired. 4 rounds, front entrance. It forces the brain out of fear and into reporting. Fear writes stories. Reporting builds data. Data is actionable. Rule 3. Follow your protocol. When stress hits, imagination is useless. Discipline is everything. If you've built your checklist: cover, aid, call, confirm, you've already saved seconds, and seconds are lives. That's how calm becomes a skill, not a personality trait. It's learned, practiced, earned, and it's never finished. Knowing when to step in and when to stay still. There are fights you have no business touching. That's a hard lesson for protectors, for women like me, who were trained to run towards screams. There were nights I crossed that line. Another property, another fight. I left my post to save someone I thought was worth saving and walked straight into a setup. I was jumped, whipped across the face with a studded belt over and over, kicked until my ribs fractured. And the most painful part wasn't the injury. It was realizing I had abandoned the people I was supposed to protect. That night taught me the cost of misplaced valor, the difference between courage and compulsion. Because every fight carries a debt to your body, your mind, and your peace. No paycheck, no pride, no story is worth paying that price twice. Sometimes power is restraint. Sometimes leadership is staying put while the chaos burns somewhere else. You stabilize what's yours. You protect who's with you. And you breathe until the world calms again. When saving isn't enough. There are moments that remind you even power has limits. One night our club's attorney stopped by. A good man, kind, normally jovial, but visibly sad. His father was in hospice and he'd been drinking, trying to keep the grief from showing. He left the club, sat in his car out front in valet, and never made it out of the parking lot alive. By the time someone called for help, I was already moving. I pulled the door open, reached across him, and began compressions right there in the seat while they moved the cars around to make room for me. I worked on him. Every strike of my palm was a plea. Come back. Please, please come back. Please come back. We got him onto the pavement. I worked on him until my arms went numb, until the paramedics took over. He was pronounced dead on arrival. You can do everything right. The timing, the training, the breath count, and still lose. That's the lesson no one wants to learn. It shatters the illusion that you can save everyone. For years, I had believed that if I got there fast enough, moved smart enough, fought hard enough, I could fix it. But life has a way of reminding you, you are not a god. You are a witness. You are a vessel. Sometimes you are simply there to try. The hardest part isn't the loss itself. It's showing up the next night, standing in the same place, and still believing your hands are capable of saving anyone. That night taught me humility, sharper than any injury. Because power isn't about being invincible. It's about carrying the weight of what you couldn't save and showing up again anyway. It also taught me to appreciate everyone I've ever worked with. Other trauma professionals, The ones who've seen me in those moments and know that I can perform exactly as I said I would, earning the respect of people who live through that same chaos. The ones I actually trust. It means something. They've seen me calm when others froze. They've seen me fight when it mattered most. And when you've shared that kind of moment, no words are needed. That mutual trust becomes its own kind of medicine. A quiet, unspoken strength that keeps you steady in a world that never stays still. Using power for correction, not control. Now, power can corrupt or it can correct. The difference lies in intent. When I trained fighters or worked the door or ran sessions, I saw it constantly. People who confused control with domination. They thought strength was about overpowering. But real correction doesn't require breaking someone down. It requires guiding them back into alignment. In my world, power is a mirror. You don't use it to humiliate. You use it to reflect what someone refuses to see themselves. If they lie to themselves, you confront it. If they lash out, you absorb it without reacting. Then show them what composure looks like. And if they cross a line, you remind them calmly, precisely, that every choice carries a consequence. It's not vengeance, it's balance. That's what separates violence from authority. One destroys for release, and the other intervenes for restoration. Now, sometimes that correction happens with words, sometimes it happens with force, but it always ends in accountability. To correct is to hold a mirror, not a weapon. It's to say, look, this is what you've become. Now choose who you'll be next. That's how power heals, not through dominance, but through deliberate awareness. Power is medicine. Diary of Truth. It can wound, it can mend, it can poison or purify, depending on who holds it and why. I've learned that regulation is the antidote to fear. Reflection is the cure for ego, and compassion is the only restraint strong enough to tame rage. In my line of work, whether protection, instruction, or domination, power isn't the end goal. It's the diagnostic. It tells you what's broken. It shows you where the weakness hides. And it demands that you heal what you once used as armor. Power is not always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet breath of survival. A calm hand in chaos. I do not dominate to frighten. I dominate to center. What I offer is not just a session. It is healing wrapped in armor. In my kink evaluations, I witness people shed years of silence. I see them discover what arouses them is not shame. It's a signal. A flare shot through the darkness, asking to be seen. Trauma hides in the body. Domination done right reveals it without violence. It coaxes the shadows out, not to punish, but to understand. I do not offer sex. I do offer structure, though, boundaries, ritual, and clarity. I walk with clients through their fears and into their fantasies. I hold their hand at the edge of their comfort zone, and then I challenge them to step beyond it with me. With couples, I teach them how to speak the language of truth, to play with purpose, and to practice with patience. Sometimes I assign homework, not as punishment, but preparation, to strengthen communication, to unveil trust. This is not indulgence. It's intentional. It is the art of creating a sacred space inside something misunderstood. I also teach women how to fight, to speak, to say no, or to say yes with power. Female personal protection is more than physical. It's a mindset. I train women to reclaim their space, to recognize manipulation, to act in moments that demand clarity and not fear. Every woman in my class carries trauma. They arrive cracked, but not broken. I offer them tools to rebuild their edge for themselves, for their children. Dom to Dom training. I offer what was never given to me: safety, mentorship, a playbook for power. We speak on verbal domination, time management, safety, boundaries. I do not teach domination. I reveal it. For teens, I offer Consent 101. We talk about pressure, guilt, bodily autonomy. We talk about deflection, defense, and dignity. Consent is not a performance. It is a muscle. It must be trained. Everything I do, every word I speak, is about returning people to themselves. So wield your power carefully, not as a sword, but as a scalpel. Because power, when used with purpose, it doesn't just control, it corrects. Until next time, guard your space, respect your voice, and never surrender what was never meant to control you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Every story I tell is a piece of truth we all carry. The lessons we hide, the power we forget we have, and the calm we fight to protect. My work is about normalizing the conversations most people avoid, the ones that make us uncomfortable, but also make us stronger. I believe difficult subjects deserve clarity, not shame. And I'm here to help create that language, one truth at a time. If this episode made you think, breathe, or feel a little braver, please subscribe and stay close. You can find more of my work or my workshops and upcoming events at mzhaze.com, MZHAZE.com, or follow along on Instagram at MZHAZE5280. Until next time, be deliberate, be dangerous with purpose, and never apologize for your presence. Thank you.